Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Touliatos, brought to you by his book, The Bible of Bodybuilding 2, available on Amazon.com with over 700 pages, training, nutrition, supplementation, PED use, everything you need to know to forge your best physique. And now, all the way from Athens, Greece, just back from Rimini, Italy, please welcome Dr. George Touliatos. What's up, George?
Hello, Ron. Have a nice week. Yeah, I want to share my impressions and my experiences about this nice time that I had for 3 days in Rimini. Initially the trip was really exhausting because it was delayed the flight, and I arrived in Rimini 2 a.m. And then at 10 in the morning the next day I had to give my lecture. So going to the breakfast, I met Gaspari. We had breakfast together, Bob Chick, and also, of course, Rosella, who was responsible for the translation and the edition of my Italian book, and Gaspari's also book. And then appeared Sergio Oliva Jr. At the time we were finishing the breakfast. So we got this picture with Richard and Bob. We moved to the lecture. The lecture hall. It was a big lecture hall, and the audience was interesting about the TRT, really. And I understood that many of the people that asked questions were following already replacement therapy. There are also other doctors speaking about, replacement therapy in Italian. Of course, there were urologists, and I had it live on Instagram. And then Richard Gaspari had two seminars. The one day after me, he spoke about nutrition, and the next one about training. I had it also live, and then was a great chance for me to work out with Richard. We did a back workout. He shared with me some Super Pump 250 and some size on. Yeah. And well, I have to tell you that he never gives up. He has this all or nothing. He goes for a war in the gym. And even though he faces many struggles with injuries, he never gives up. He's a real fighter. That's why you understand this man. He was a legend in his when he was 25, mid-20s, and now he's 60. He's still training with the same passion and motivation. He's crazy. I told him during the seminar, it's win or die. And yeah, he said, I'm gonna be phenomenal. I win. I would rather die. And this is the way you go for a war, not to lose but to win. He spoke about his battles with Lee Haney, and that Haney was the absolute genetic freak. He would pick up any kind of dumbbell and build muscle. The typical mesomorph, Lee Haney. But he was weaker in legs, Haney, but Gaspari was phenomenal. He said he squat 7 plates.
Yeah.
Also, Bob Chick 7 plates because he was an Olympia competitor. And then we sat down and had some lunch. Also, Oliva Jr. said that he was not satisfied with his appearance, and I think the trip cost him in this thing. He doesn't know now when his next show, but he will go to, after he will spend some time. He goes now, I think today he's in Rimini with the other guys. I also met Big Ramy. It's a question mark whether he will compete this year. He will be, of course, in Florida, but I think he will decide. He said, I will be back definitely. I'm not going to give up. So Bob Chick asked him things, and he left rumors about perhaps next year. But of course, he's not retiring. This is the main conclusion. Bonac said he will definitely have a last next year. I think he's going to do all the Arnolds. Okay.
Yeah, he said he would do the. That's what he said.
Yeah,
he said he would come back and do the.
Because he said, let's be realistic. The Olympia, it's the war is really deep. The top 5.
Yeah.
And Oliva doesn't know. When he's gonna compete. We saw Jan Vayer winning the Toronto, which is a big guy also. I have to tell you, he reminds me a lot of his father with his amazing structure, large clavicle, almost similar legs for arms, forearms, the midsection. Okay, he hits the same way the victory pose. We had a dinner with Panata 3 nights, and it was really fascinating, amusing, listening to those guys sharing stories with you. You learn so much from them, and it's part of the history. And yes, so even with Gaspari, it was really passionate. We filmed and we took, of course, this legendary picture. And I was wearing Gaspari because I had these hands that I will film the Gaspari, so I'm gonna have this vest that I'm taking from this protein house supplement store that brings Gaspari supplements also. And that's all. I mean, the next day was about the PDs. Um, and yeah, of course, I want to say that after 8 years, I was able to meet again my mentor, Massimo Spettini.
Yeah,
It was really
absolutely.
emotional, and we spoke almost half an hour. And he was there with his wife. I mean, I gave him a new book, and of course, to Rudy Panata, I gave him also my book, the Bible. We had a picture, and he told me that Hani Rambot purchased a large amount of equipment for his new gym that he opens in Dallas.
Wow.
That's it about it. I'm gonna have a little online article about this tomorrow, and
Yeah, so
also
that
have
was
the magazine, the June's magazine with my.
nice.
I just got it
Yeah.
from the newsstand. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Panata, Rudy Panata, and Panata Official put that whole event on. I don't think I made that clear at the beginning, but yeah, that's going to be an online post on MD on musculardevelopment.com pretty soon.
Yeah, well,
So people look
thousands
out
of
for that.
young people really enthusiastic with fitness. The Panata booth was the largest one.
Mm,
Okay, many square meters,
wow.
and it was really packed. I mean, you couldn't train there. It was really packed. It was like a nightclub.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I remember, Bevan, the only times I've been to Bevan Steve's gym, the Powerhouse Gym, which is a great gym, it's been for an event with seminars and it's so packed. You couldn't train there if you wanted to because it was just like there's no room. You're going to bump into somebody. If you move a machine, you're going to hit somebody. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I need to go back when it's not like that. We got a lot of questions. I want to get started with a very controversial subject. It's been all over bodybuilding forums, news, you name it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he came out and gave his Olympia cycle. And he said all he used, Arnold, for gear was 100 milligrams of testosterone a week and 3 5 milligram tablets of Dianabol for 15 milligrams a day.
We
And
cannot assume, but I know from stories, of course, anecdotal stories and rumors, that he was in front of Primo Bolan a lot.
hmm,
Yes, I know that he was taking a lot of Dianabol, and somebody told me that he had a jar and using Dianabol. I don't know if this is
just a handful. He was just reaching and put a handful, but that's crazy.
uh, and I think Primo Bolan also was one of his favorite. Perhaps this is in the early 70s. In
Hmm.
1980, I guess, there were also other drugs, like Wisum, Parabolan, perhaps. But back then they were more bulky. They were not aromatase inhibitors, perhaps not diuretics,
Yeah.
because they didn't have this shredded dry look. They were, of course, very defined, but just with steroids, nothing else, no insulin, no GH. And I guess, um, you know, um, it was more of genetics because with steroids today, you just go to the beach. Well, of course, you may win the nationals, but not out of USA, in the Europe perhaps. But without GH and insulin, you cannot do something serious to get a pro card.
I mean, the reason people are not believing this, they're finding it very, very hard to believe is 100 milligrams of testosterone is, that's a
Yeah,
TRT
100.
dose.
Yeah, it's better.
It's like nothing. It's like, what would that
It could
even
be
do?
500 perhaps. It could be 500.
Yeah. I mean, do you think this is my theory that maybe that was the first cycle he ever did when he was like 15 years old? And instead of telling people I did 500 milligrams test, 500 milligrams primobolan, he feels
Maybe.
he's a
Maybe,
celebrity.
of
And
course, he was a genetic freak because today, no matter how many drugs they're taking, they cannot reach his chest.
I agree. I
Also,
agree.
Tom Flats and
Wow.
Gaspari told me that nobody can reach the definition, the size of Tom Platz. Very rare professionals have this kind of quality. But of course, Tom Platz was killing this apart from his genetics. He was training like he was possessed.
Yeah, he was one of the hardest training people I've ever seen on those videos. But I feel, and you can tell me if you agree or not. I feel like Arnold is minimizing what he used because he doesn't want anyone He doesn't want people copying. He doesn't want someone going out and say, "Well, Arnold did 500 milligrams. I'm going to do 500 milligrams."
Even if
He's
you do, you're not gonna reach half of his size.
I know. I
People
don't
compare
believe.
apple to oranges. Come on, this
I
is
know, but
so immature.
I just don't believe that that's all Arnold used, and I hate calling Arnold a liar because he's our hero. We all love Arnold. We all grew up watching the movies and pumping iron. Arnold. We wouldn't have this sport the way it is now at the level of popularity and money
He
if it
said
weren't for
that
Arnold.
officially in the documentary.
He did say it. I'm not sure where he said it. I don't know if maybe it was from. There's a new Netflix documentary, a 3-part series starting with Arnold. It comes out in 2 days. I'm really excited to watch it. It's
He
just
said for
called
the
Arnold.
Olympia, for the Olympia.
Yeah, that was his Olympia cycle. 100 milligrams a test and 3 5 milligram tabs of D-ball a day, which I don't know. It just doesn't seem like 100 milligrams. That's not even that's a very small replacement dose. What would that even do for somebody who's in his 20s, like Arnold was for most of his Olympia wins? He was 240, 235 to 245 at his best at about six.
Yeah, 240 was in New York, 1974, I guess.
Yeah.
110.
So I don't know. I don't buy it, and I understand if he's trying to keep people from using higher doses of steroids. I
Perhaps.
understand, but we'll never know. All right, we got a training question. We love these for shoulder shrugs, doctor. For traps, would you lift the shoulders straight up and down, or rotate them in a circle, as some gym bros do?
I think it's better to rotate because eventually you may traumatize and have injury with the clavicle and the scapula, the joints,
Hmm.
and the ligaments. I asked a Spanish special about this, and he said he was doing the front, the side, and the back.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think perhaps in a video he was rotating this, and I think this is a bad idea. I was doing also rotations, but besides, you cannot rotate with super heavy dumbbell. With 100-pound dumbbell, it's not easily to rotate. So just focus on the three moves: front, side, and back. And back was involved also Lihini. Jay Cutler was doing back for the middle area of the trapezius.
I think traps are probably one of the easiest muscle groups to grow
Yeah,
because
it's small group and it needs high reps and heavy duty. So it's like the calves and the forearms. They have perhaps lactate tolerance because small muscle group they need to do super heavy, but also 15 reps.
yeah, and because it's such a short range of motion, the high reps makes a lot of sense. But I also see people just barely moving. Like they'll put 4 or 5 plates on the bar
You
each
need
side
up
and
to
just
your
keep going.
ears, and
Yeah, you got to
stay
go up.
focused for 1 second.
I agree.
Gaspari said to the seminar, but for the lower department, for the legs, you need especially 15 to 20 reps more rather than in your torso.
Yeah.
And I've heard that also from other guys.
Oh, I mean, I know a lot
The
of
legs do not respond to the 8 to the 10 reps and
or
12
lower.
reps. You need more, huh?
Yeah, a ton of guys now they squat very, very heavy for Instagram just so people can see how strong they are, but they have terrible leg development because they're only doing like 3, 4 reps. That's why. All right. To our drug questions. I'm on 140 milligrams of testosterone cypionate every 3.5 days, 70 milligrams 2 times a week. Should I continue taking it every 3.5 days, or do you think every 5 days will be a better course of
Yeah,
a
I
better
think
cause
you
of lowering
shouldn't
the heart?
do with slow ester. There's no eventually understood that there's no major difference doing sooner than 5 days because that's the half life.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
same goes with the cycles. It's stupid to inject 3 times a week enanthate or equipose, for instance, or Deca because it lasts the system more. So every 5 days, it's good. Now, if you want to do microdosing, it's better to do with the propionate when it matches the half-life of 2 or 3 days.
I'm just wondering how you get 3.5 days. So
Three and
if
a
I
half is because you cut the week in half.
okay,
So
because I mean,
Monday and Thursday is a 3.5 days scenario.
you'd have to do like
And
so if
Thursday
I
to Monday is 3.5 days.
if I did a shot this morning at 9 a.m. on a Monday as we're speaking, I'd have to
You got to
do
do it.
Thursday at 9 p.m. to do 3.5 days. To
Hmm.
do 12 hours. A day, half a day is 12 hours. All right, that's enough math for one day. What is the doctor's perspective on the carnivore diet that heightened my cholesterol yet provided satiety, made him feel full? Despite cholesterol lowering post diet, My hunger was better controlled while on it. There's a significant group advocating for it, the carnivore diet. Is it viable for long-term physique maintenance? And why isn't it popular among bodybuilders who prefer frequent meals?
Now, the carnivore thing, it depends on animal protein in the absence of carbs, and it's also accompanied by seeds. It will, it's similar to the paleo diet, I think so, but it lowers your appetite and improves your insulin sensitivity, because in the absence of carbs, in the presence of protein, that is anti-diabetic, this diet, and also brings insulin sensitivity. But if you rely too much on saturated fat, then you will increase the intrahepatic synthesis of cholesterol. That's why you will increase your LDL and your total cholesterol.
Yeah. So
how bodybuilders want to eat also carbs.
Right.
You know, where are you going without carbs in bodybuilding?
I mean,
so
have you ever followed zero carbs for a while and had good workouts?
I think, come on, are you kidding me? Even I was mentally dead. I mean, I could, the 0 carb or 50 carb diet, no more than 1 or 2 days, no more. No more. I mean, no matter how much protein you take, you cannot turn it to a significant amount of carbs, you know, and then you're mentally dead.
Agreed. All right. Has the doctor ever heard of using sibutramine in a fat loss phase?
Yeah. Sibutramine was an amphetamine. It was available in Greece 15 years ago. I used it. And it was for appetite suppressor. Perhaps it will give you stimulation. It will not perhaps. It will give you a stimulation to the CNS through adrenaline. That's why it's risky for the heart. It will give you insomnia. Also, it works like ephedrine, you know, with the adrenaline rush. And it's, of course, appetite suppression, like also ephedrine. Okay. But it's the withdrawal, because there were some cases of death.
It's amphetamine. You take too much amphetamine, your heart will give out on you, obviously.
And it's addictive, you know.
Can you? This guy wants to know: can I use testosterone cypionate with Deca with Mastron for 4 months? Sure, you could.
Listen, those drugs are not semi-alkylated, but it depends on your liver profile, on your liver, on your hematocrit. 4 months. People are using 4 months trend, so. Or they're using perhaps some idiots 3 months, Winchell Anavar together, you know, and the liver is super stressed, and the lipids are going to hell. So it's testosterone, Mastron. What else?
I want to do testosterone, Deca, and Mastron.
Mastron doesn't match with Deca. I mean, it's a dry drug. Now, testosterone with Mastron also is overkill. 2 androgens together. So I would say, why not use Mastron with Primo and Deca with testosterone? One is for bulk, one other is more dry.
Sure. I mean,
great combinations, you know. I mean, you should use things that are similar and work for the same result. I mean, Winchell with Deca. What's the reason of using this?
No. They're very similar. You know, so if you were doing this, and you know, we always say to these people, you got to check your labs and see, because some people will have very little side effects and damage to their lipids and all that. Some people will have a lot of damage. How often would you say someone should get their blood done if they're on a cycle?
Always before starting. You need to be in the green zone. I've been telling this a long time. It's more important before.
Gotcha.
And after, to estimate the damage. But if you go on the yellow zone or the orange zone before, you're gonna screw it. Come on.
Yeah. Well, good choice. Is 1 IU of growth hormone worth doing with TRT? Just 1 IU.
Yeah, of course. Why not? This is the aging, actually. 1 or 2.
Okay, fair enough. That was an easy one. Here we go. Can you please recommend something for post-injection pain? I always have these lumps and swollen areas after I inject my testosterone, and they can last for weeks. It's really horrific because sometimes I inject it in the lumps and I bleed a lot, and the areas are hard and very painful.
We've said that before, that lidocaine is a good case, but also massage and rub this area post-injection. You know, once I was asked from an FBB pro to do an injection to him because he had a needle phobia, and I told him you need to rub and massage well after to spread the oil Of course, he had enormous delts, but you need to spread it and massage this postly. And it's really idiotic injecting into the lump because for sure you're going to develop an abscess. You're asking for trouble, you know, you're going for a surgery like this.
The pain would be so, yeah, I've had that pain many times. I can't imagine putting a needle
Go
in the
for
area.
pills or
Go for pills.
do the other side, you know, change spots.
And I mean, we've said this before, maybe you need to get some new gear because maybe you're using some underground gear that has a lot of benzyl alcohol in it it's giving you a lot more post-injection
You
pain.
think the benzyl alcohol hurts?
Yeah. I mean, that's like the T400. That's why that crap hurts.
Yeah,
so
but
much.
benzyl alcohol is contained, I mean, several other solutions. I mean, I think it was trend. It was cypionate also. It smells, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've often found it with the higher concentrated gear. That's giving me the worst pain. The 300 is a borderline, but 400, anything that's 400 milligrams per mil, it's going to hurt a lot for a long time after the shot. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, Doc, I'm on 125 milligrams test per week, which comes in a 250 milligram ampule. So what's the right way to save the other half of test for the next week?
Refill the syringe and store it in the fridge.
There you go. Yeah, easy enough. I mean, I hope they weren't like taking the glass ampule and like putting a little piece of plastic over it and throwing it in the refrigerator. Yeah, I would just draw it out in a syringe. Because how long is a syringe full of gear in a refrigerator good for?
Oil. With oil?
Yeah, oil.
Forever. Come on. Okay. How long are you going to use this? 1 week.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Question for both. Nope. This is all you, doctor. Do you think MK677 is a better option rather than actual growth hormone? What about the very dangerous side effects like cancer? Every doctor that I've asked about GH or MK77 said, if I go this route at one point in life, I'll get cancer and more. They said, if I have a tumor, the GH or MK will grow that tumor. So is it smart to add this to my HRT?
The second part of the question is true. It's forbidden to give GH while you have cancer because it proliferates the cells. Oof. Now, speaking of MK677, if it's legitimate, it kicks your own production. That means that does not spike significantly the IGF-1. Nevertheless, you can use GH in a low dose, 1 or 2 IUs, that does not spike superphysiologically the IGF-1.
Okay, fair enough. Have you used MK677?
Oh, because I don't trust the source.
Yeah, but I'm saying
just for the sake of it. I mean, to say that I'm swallowing those pills. But why to use it since I inject twice a day to my kids?
Real growth hormone. I mean, how could it? I could see how maybe someone could think it's as good as, but I've never heard.
No, it's not as good as. It's not as effective. It is, but perhaps it's safer in terms of the IGF-1 spike.
Okay, fair enough. All right. How much testosterone do you think an underground lab like Sustanon 300 mg/ml actually contains? Is there a way to test my gear? You know, of any legit sites or labs that can test it to see the actual dosage and see if it contains heavy metals or other impurities?
How should I know this?
Well, you know, our good
theoretically, hypothetically.
Was it Bill Llewellyn sells that Royd test kit, right?
Yeah, but speaking about a heavy metal, yeah, Bill Llewellyn says that if it's whether it's the compound or not, and in some cases, semi-qualitative, meaning how much of it. Right. The most important is to distinguish whether it's the substance or not, rather than the milligrams. But for the milligrams of testosterone, yeah, we say that usually one vial of 250 will give you 2,000 of testosterone.
So get your blood done.
Or 1,500. Yeah. About the other steroids, you cannot estimate.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's underground. There's nobody.
About the steroids, what you can see, I mean, how much SHBG is suppressed. But usually with 250 of testosterone, you have 1,500 around. You know.
So if you're doing 300 and your test is less than that, it's probably underdosed.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But you know, if you're in the U.S., guys, and you're old enough and you have deficiency in testosterone, there's plenty of great places.
Yeah, Rich Kaspari opened up a clinic, and the aging clinic that supplies all testosterone, but it's all cash. There's no insurance. Wow, yes, and sites as well.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
I didn't know that. Wow, good for Rich.
Yeah.
It's about time. Almost done here. Here's a good one. Hello, Doc. Can I travel with my underground gear and Ovitrel HCG to Greece for a vacation? Where should I put it if I travel by plane? What about if I travel by car? Did you or Ron bring UGL gear to other countries without a prescription? I have never brought gear any on a plane.
Yeah, but
Nowhere near.
underground gear is stupid. If it's pharmaceutical grade, you can justify it with a prescription. But underground, you're killing me.
Yeah, you're
This
going
is
to be in
where
big trouble.
we'll go after the authorities, you know, because it's black market.
So if I show up to visit you, doctor, and I'm going into customs, I'm entering Greece at the Athens airport or whatever, and they find a bunch of drugs in my suitcase, I'm in big
Greece,
trouble.
it's no problem if it's for your use, but
Okay.
it should be preferably, you know, pharmaceutical grade with your prescription. Now, if you leave Athens for the USA, and I'll take you to the pharmacy store, we collect all the testosterone from the shelves, then I'll give you a note for the TSA that if this is your use for 3 months, let's say.
I'm with Frontline Andre's company, so I have a prescription now for my test. I didn't take it to Australia. I was in Australia for 2 weeks, and I found out, I looked in, even though if you have a prescription, you needed to have like a special permission form from their customs or something ahead of time. And I was like, I'm not even going to bother. So
Did you inject more the day before the trip?
of course. But, I think it was by about a week later, I was starting to come down. By the time I got home, I was like, oh my God, I need my shot.
Did you notice? You feel the difference?
Did feel a difference.
Your levels down?
For sure. Energy, sex drive. I don't think my physique was changing too much, but yeah, when you're on TRT, it's like you need to have it every week. You go more than 2 weeks, you're going to start feeling a difference. I'd really be worried about like a month off of it. Final question, and you've talked about this before. Is it true we can check our GH with a pregnancy test? I heard most GH is faked with HCG, and when the test turns positive, it would say the GH is fake.
No, but with the pregnancy test, we check out GHG actually. But if GH is faked by HCG, then it should be positive in the pregnancy test. And actually, it's much cheaper, the HCG, than the GH, so they mix it.
Sir, you are pregnant. Imagine hearing that.
Or the other thing is to check out, of course, the HCG in your level or compare it with the IGF-1 levels. That's all.
True. All right. Guys, I want you to check out all the stuff we talked about. Dr. George's visit to Rimini, Italy for the Panata sport event. It's on his Instagram, Dr. George Tuliatos. I think it's on a lot of your Facebook stuff too. Some great footage, some workout footage with Rich Gaspari, the Dragon Slayer. Got all kinds of Sergio Oliva Jr., Big Ramy. Was Bonac there too? Of
course, it was a William Bonac.
It's an all-star cast.
He was part of the seminar, the athlete seminar. And he's in shape, veins everywhere. He's always chewing. We take a picture and he's always chewing. In Dubai, he was chewing. In Rimini, he was chewing.
You chewing gum or food?
Banana. He had a banana, and the other time he had breakfast.
Wow. Okay. He's always hungry, I guess. Okay.
He's big. Yeah. He's big.
Oh, yeah. He looks great. He's the conqueror. I mean, the guy was second place at the Olympia a few years ago. Come on. He's won the Arnold Classic twice. He's no joke. So, guys, please subscribe to the channel. If you like these videos, please hit the like. Of course, share these on your social media platforms so more people can get all the info they need. We're very, very fortunate to have Dr. T here every week answering your questions. A medical doctor and a champion bodybuilder, walks the walk, talks the talk. Turn on your notifications so you know we have great video content. Dr. George, thank you so much once again. Welcome back from Italy. A great time. I wish I was there. Maybe next time. Talk to Rudy for me. And that's it. We will see you here next week, right here on Ask Dr. Testosterone. Thanks for watching. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.